So, a video by Brett Cooper, Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, and Clavicular. I believe it's Walk Into a Club.
I feel like reacting to things on the internet, which I have done for 4 years straight at this point, it used to be more fun. It used to be free and freewheeling, and now every day when I sit behind this microphone...
Sorry, I'm just a little bit ticked off. I had started this video and actually went into it, and it was, turned out my photo was over the entire screen pretty much. I forgot to move it. So, we're going at this again for the second time.
I'm constantly worried about offending people on my own side, on my own political side, not saying the right thing.
Because they can't stand a strong, independent woman.
I'm just over it. Can things not just be funny anymore? Can we not just touch some grass and
No.
laugh at things without it being the end of the world? Can I not just be entertained by things that go on the internet? Because what happened in Miami this weekend with all of the Manosphere streamers, that was my reality TV. All right, now you might be able to...
I wonder if there's some sort of psychological underpinning to the notion that I think women almost, like, they would probably lap guys when it comes to jewelry. Because guys sometimes wear jewelry. Women, I think, almost always would wear jewelry. I wonder if there'd be any type of, like, evolutionary biology behind that, or some sort of instinctive, unconscious thing driving
tell
that.
by the sound of my voice, but we had the plague this week. Very few things brought me more genuine wheezing laughter than this collection of streamers taking Nick Fuentes to a club in Miami. And
yeah, and the thing is, I don't think a lot of them, like, I think at least Sneeko and Nick Fuentes maybe, well, Sneeko I don't think gets really, at least at one point he did not get along with Andrew Tate. For a while he got along with Andrew Tate, then he didn't, and I don't know if he's good with him again. Nick Fuentes, I don't know if he really gets along with anyone who's not white or Catholic or straight, asterisk. There's a lot of assertions people make about him, about he's perhaps a self-loathing gay man or something like that, but I don't know.
do not worry, everyone is already busy condemning it. Now, before we get into what happened and all of the responses, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And of course, if you want to stay up to date on all of the things we are doing on the channel and every new episode, make sure to ring that notification bell. This whole streaming endeavor weekend, guys weekend, it was like a glorified bachelor party, but for the Manosphere streamers. And it all took place on Clavicular's stream on Kick. If you don't know who Clav is, Clavicular, I have a video about him.
Okay.
Batshit crazy, like crazy story. If you don't know who he is, you
Just not wrong. I'm saying I have a video on him as well.
can go watch that. Clavicular somehow assembled the Avengers of the Manosphere. He got the
I don't know if I like Fuentes as Iron Man. He's funny, but I don't know if I would, like, yeah. I was saying the other time I watched this, I could tell.
go watch that. Clavicular somehow assembled the Avengers.
Is this a race-swapped Nick Fury? Well, a re-race swapped Nick Fury, because technically he was originally white. But no one cared because Samuel Jackson was awesome. I feel like, I don't know if they're black so much as, like, Southern European. I guess I don't know. Does anyone know that Andrew Tate brothers are the Tate brothers are black? And someone got all the hair in the family.
Of the Manosphere. He got the Tate brothers, he got Fresh and Fit, he got Sneeko, he got Nick Fuentes, and a gaggle of women that you would expect to see on the Whatever podcast. He got them all together in Miami. And if that sounds like a fever dream to you, it basically is. Imagine me having a fever, watching all of this transpire. I thought I was hallucinating. They started this whole night, this like guys weekend, Saturday night at a pregame at this mansion that I think was provided by one of
Do you know it's completely unrelated to this? I was thinking of just using the word BIPOC as some sort of weird nebulous adjective to mean anything I want it to mean, because I don't really like it as a phrase. I kind of know what it means. It just kind of is, I don't know, it just feels like one of those terms people created to give themselves a podium for doing something and excluding other people and saying, no, we can do this, no, you can't. I don't know.
Andrew Tate's friends. This was all of them walking in the door. Like, this whole thing was being filmed.
That was super BIPOC of them.
The boys walking in.
For whatever reason, I think it's because I watched a highlight of Family Guy once on YouTube. I think that's kind of when the progenitor of this. I probably watched it more than once actually, but there's a time where I think they were playing a tuba as Chris was walking around.
You see the cameras back there. They're on the water. Oh, there's the ladies lined up by the water, just ready for these streamers to walk in and greet them. And that clip was posted, and somebody said, this looks like a scene out of a mafia movie. And then somebody else reposted that and said, the gay father, which was very funny. I have to admit, I laughed a lot. One of the comments said, I can never forget the famous line from that movie, "You come to me on the day of my alpha male child's Hitler clubbing night." I literally, when I read that this morning, I laughed.
Classic.
So hard that snot came out of my nose. That's about where we're at right now.
TMI.
The whole first part of this streaming weekend at this pregame, it was like Clavicular, like being the new kid on the block. The new Manosphere protege trying to prove himself to everyone, meeting his Manosphere sages.
There's a part of me that hopes I would act better if I were faced with someone who was really famous. There's actually a really funny line from, I think, the one Innocents Abroad, where the character involved meets a king, and his kind of unhallowed thought is that he wants to see if he could strike the king, to see if the king would fall over like any other man or whatever. Like we tend to think of famous people as being these like etheric, larger than life things. And again, like I guess I would like to think I would react like normally, that I wouldn't be some sort of, girly girl. But I guess I don't know. I think the most famous person I've ever met was probably some sort of reporter. But, at the time I didn't know they were a reporter.
There's this moment where he tries to sound cool. He's like rizzing up, flirting with this girl. And he literally straight up just tells her that he does meth. Just watch.
When I get drunk, I get retarded. So.
Aren't you about to go to the club?
Yeah, but I usually don't drink.
Oh, what do you do?
Meth,
Oh. Straight to the point.
you know? You guys ever do meth?
No, Clavicular. Normal people
How dare you? He has mad riz.
do not do meth. All of the other older guys, they're giving him advice like how to date or not date women.
Saying,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
date. I don't take dinner.
I never.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah, babe.
I don't know if there's like a thought going through his head. It's like, I don't take dinner, and he's like, oh yeah, definitely not. What is going on?
The only dinner a woman will ever go to with me is when I'm meeting other men. But like a one-on-one dinner with a girl is a mistake and a waste of time and money.
3 hours of garbage.
How are these not too over the
I feel like this is more a commentary on the type of women you choose, which is in turn kind of a commentary on you as a person. Like, if the women you're with are boring, that's kind of because probably you're boring. Fun fact, there's the notion that you always want to be the smartest guy in the room. Sometimes being the smartest guy in the room just means you've surrounded yourself with idiots. Not always a good thing.
top caricatures that you see in like a weird comedy movie. These are not the lead characters. These are the odd supporting characters that are written so over the top to just like elevate the rest of the comedy. That is this scene right now. This is what
I feel like in a movie, these would be like the cartoonishly evil villains who would get their comeuppance at the end of the movie and say, "Darn you," no, whatever. They would have some sort of stupid closing phrase as they get dragged off to jail. "I'll be back."
we're watching. There's another moment where the same guy and Tristan Tate were telling Clavicular to not get invested in hoes, which you think, okay, maybe that's some good advice, you know, don't get invested in hoes, but then they also say this.
I DM them, think they ain't gonna come with me. Those side chicks aren't yours. Oh, those are hoes. They don't belong to you. Don't put a flag on them. Don't claim them. They're for the streets. Yeah. So I still fuck them.
Look at the way he's holding his hand, and that he has a pink suit. Just saying. Limp-wristed. That's what it looks like. He looks like a limp-wristed. No, for the record, I think the first thing that would actually come to mind is a pimp. And intuitively, he actually did help Andrew Tate with his camp girl business. So I think I'm not far off on that.
Yeah, of course.
Classy. Love that for sure. Now, by the way, the guy in that video with Tristan Tate, his name is Justin Waller. On comment section, I once made fun of him for his suits and his pants being way too tight, which I stand by that. They are far too...
I was gonna say, like, I will stand up for women this once. Anyone who talks about women that way deserves to get clowned on.
Too tight, Justin. I will always say that, but I'm pretty sure that I ran into him after the fact and he was very nice and considerate. I think that he did Michael Knowles' show or something, and Michael was like, Brett.
I've remarked on this before, but I feel like anytime a person thinks they can get something, yes, they will turn on whatever little amount of charm they have and be very nice to you. So I don't think it's entirely remarkable that he was maybe nice to her, or he might be nice to any woman who can get him somewhere or something. It's unfortunately a side effect of being famous. Like, people are nice to you. It's one of those things, I don't know if you really know whether they're actually a quote-unquote nice person until you see how they treat people who they can't get anything from.
You gotta come see Justin. And I was like, oh my god, I literally was just crapping on this man for how tight his suits are. They are far too tight. Anyway, the whole stream to me was just more evidence that Clavicular, as this new social media figure and young man, that he really has no ideas or core values. He is just there mogging. Like, the only thing that this man thinks about is looks maxing. Like, his brain must be damaged from like hitting himself in the face with a hammer and doing meth. Just look at his face when Tristan Tate tried to talk about politics with him.
I said I was going to vote for Gavin Newsom because of JD Vance. You know what I mean? I called JD Vance a fat subhuman.
It does feel like he's kind of a little bit cloying, looking for affirmation a bit. Maybe age will solve some of that. I think I don't know what, he might be 20 at this point. Yeah, it's stupid. You always think you're grown up at the age you are. And then when you grow up past that, you kind of like, oh wow, not grown up at all.
And I would advise you that.
I don't like this hair flip here. It looks like it's asymmetrical, and not in a nice way, not in an asymmetrically balanced way, just kind of asymmetrical.
You're wrong. However, you're no. You're an American, and I'm an American, so I don't tell other Americans who to vote for. I never have.
He used to mog JD Vance, and that's why I voted for him. And then Tristan's like, no, that is an absolutely idiotic idea. Say what you will about Tristan Tate, but he is absolutely...
Okay, now I have to know. Let me get this straight. Clavicular is voting for Gavin Newsom because he mogged JD Vance, because literally he looks better. Is that the gist of this?
I don't tell other Americans who to vote for. I never have. You vote for whoever you like. But if Gavin Newsom's running against JD Vance, I will be voting for JD Vance, and that's my vote, and you can do what you want with yours.
Now, the reason why this clip is so funny to me is because it starts off with Clavicular, like, thinking that he's going to have this mic drop moment. He's smirking, he's like, they're gonna love this. Yeah, I went viral for saying that Gavin Newsom mogged JD Vance, and that's why I voted for him. And then Tristan's like...
That's a stupid logic. Like, I'm sorry, like, whatever you think about politicians, like, looks doesn't really enter into competency when it comes to politicians. I don't think necessarily. And maybe it like has to do with, I guess you could say looks would be an advantage when you're speaking publicly or something, and consequently there's something. But like, again, voting for someone because they look, that's an idiotic idea. Just because they look better does not mean they will. And I feel stupid even saying that. He has made me stupider.
No, that is an absolutely idiotic idea. Say what you will about Tristan Tate, but he is absolutely in the right here. And he's like, no, as an American, I will vote for American interests, which would be JD Vance, not Gavin Newsom. And just like in the clip, if we zoom in, you can just watch Clavicular, the confidence like drain from his face. He's like, oh. But he's still trying to, you know, keep up appearances. And then Justin joins in and echoes what Tristan's saying. And then it's just over for him. And this type of thing just kept happening throughout the night. When they were on...
That's another weird, like, kind of psychological dynamic where it feels like in that scenario, do you think Clavicular is going to go away and he's going to come away with the actual changed opinion that he shouldn't have voted for Gavin Newsom? I guess I don't know. It feels like in those scenarios you can kind of be browbeaten into a certain position. It's one of the things I think sometimes is it happens in what you consider like debates, where a person can be forced to concede, but they don't really change their mind. Like, in the moment that they're forced to accept that this point is correct, but, like, again, you haven't really succeeded in altering the way they think in a good way. Like, they're going to go away and they're going to come up with some sort of reason as to how they can still espouse that same belief. You've just temporarily set them back.
On this party bus, which we'll talk about later, Sneeko and Fuentes, they were talking about their content and they pushed.
And to be fair, like, if you do believe in your positions, I suppose going away and, you know, reestablishing them or reconciling them with, to the degree that you can hold them again, I guess maybe that's a good thing too, but providing they're not, you know, some sort of aberrant, unhealthy beliefs.
Back on Clavicular doing content with OnlyFans girls, and the moment they push back, he just folded. He stands for nothing. Just watch.
You know, people will say, oh, you're promoting OF wars. It's like, if you don't have the willpower to not buy a fucking porn subscription, that's just on you, okay?
Okay, he thinks he has a mic drop moment. He's looking over at the camera and he's like, if you don't have the willpower,
That's what drug dealers say.
that's on you. And then just watch.
It's not the greatest
Silence.
responsibility for people being grown.
I'm not trying to make fun of Asians, but this guy does have, like, his eyebrows are, like, perfectly stereotypical Asian man. Like, he should have a like a really long goatee and ponytails. Master Sneeko. Sensei Sneeko? No, I'm trying to think whether this is Japanese or Chinese. I'm thinking it would be like Chinese, but there's this like very stereotypical like chink, and maybe he tries for that. I don't know.
You agree?
Yeah, I mean, I agree it's not your fault that people are buying it, but I do think the content with OF girls is like inherently promoting it.
Yeah, I know.
He literally folds immediately. He folds immediately.
I feel like kids in general do not have very well developed beliefs. So, like, if you ask a kid why they did something, like, I don't know. Like, they operate more on instinct than any sort of intellectual or conscientious, like, motivation. And that type of motivation, if you don't understand the origins of it, if you don't know why you believe what you believe, yeah, it folds pretty quick.
Nick is like, yeah, I'm not going to be on camera saying that that's a good thing. And Clavicular, after having this mic drop moment, smirking at the camera, you know, mogging, mewing, whatever he's doing, he's immediately like, yeah, no, you're right, I probably shouldn't do that. He is the small puppy in this live stream. He is the protege. He is desperate to win the approval of the Tates, of the Justin Wellers, of Nick Fuentes.
Oh, speaking of which, I'm pretty sure I heard Clavicular say he was clean off of meth. In the last video I watched him, he was clean for 2 weeks or something. And now he's saying he does meth instead of drinking. The plot thickens.
Says all of those things. All right, now I kind of got off track with the whole Clavicular thing, but this actually is a good segue because from there, the boys, the bachelor party, their selection of women, they get on that party bus and they go to the club, which I'm sorry, just seems like so awful and nasty. Kill me if I am ever found in that environment. That is the last place on earth I would.
I don't like loud places in general. They annoy me. It's just too much crap. And like, the notion, like, it feels like it's very hard to carry on any sort of, like, meaningful conversation with anyone, especially in places like that. I don't see the appeal at all. Unless you actually like dancing, or you want to get with someone. I feel like the whole notion is just kind of stupid.
Ever want to be. This is what was happening. Club culture to me is just like apocalyptic. They're in a VIP space, which should be nicer, and yet they're still packed in like sardines. They're screaming over each other. There's flashing lights. There's women, they're just standing around looking at their phones. Nobody's dancing. Andrew Tate in some of these videos, like, he honestly.
It kind of feels like it's a place for adult children, basically. It's like the equivalent of like jangling keys for a cat or something. Maybe simpleton easily entertain people like. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. If you like that sort of thing, I feel like you cannot be of the highest intellectual and or moral fiber.
like looked a little embarrassed. Stop pretending that this is an enjoyable, fulfilling, fruitful way to spend a Saturday night. I can smell the vodka and the vape smoke from here. Clips from there started going viral as well, and people online were obviously entertained because they're going viral, people are commenting, they're talking about it, but no one really seemed to think that this was admirable or aspirational, understandably. Like somebody posted and said, what the F happened to this country? Nothing about this scene is a win for America, which I would agree. We have Groiper incels standing clustered like wallflowers at a high school dance looking awkward and out of place. place. Everyone looks bored and out of their minds, masking their boredom by vapes, pills, or endless phone checking, which it does sum up a lot of modern young Americans. Watch that video again. All of the girls, they're just standing there scrolling on their phones. You're out in public, apparently socializing, and yet you're standing in this loud, obnoxious, disgusting, sticky floor.
Yeah. Her epitaphs are well placed. I don't know if epitaphs is the right word there. Her adjectives are well placed.
Environment, literally just scrolling on X, scrolling through your DM, seeing who likes.
Okay. Again, I feel like the whole notion of clubbing, like, is there anyone who really enjoys that? If you enjoy music, I feel like I don't know if you really enjoy that. Maybe if you're just really into electronic stuff. I guess if you enjoy music and dancing, maybe that's it. But beyond that, it is an environment that is non-conducive to anything else beyond music, dancing, and getting with someone, I assume.
Your selfie in your like half-naked dress, it's just gross. And the commenters agree. Even
for the record, I've never been to a club, so I guess I can't remark on it, but it feels like that is kind of the vibe. It's just, did I say, for the record, I've never been, well, I have been to a concert once. I've never been to a club. I didn't like the concert either, and that was like a gospel concert. It's just, yeah, it's just too loud.
in regards to like the men being there, this guy said no substance, all ego and facade. All of those people need a camera with all eyes on me, but when it comes down to being authentic, he said, I don't know, I feel like Sneaky is the only one that seems authentic. Andrew Tate is such a goober. I wonder if Andrew Tate would be offended by somebody calling him
A goofy goober, even.
goober. It's not even like an aggressive critique. It's just like, you're a goober, sir. And the funny thing is, like, the one person who stood out in the stream was Nicholas J. Fuentes because he looked so out of place in that environment. Somebody commented and said, weirdly enough, Nick being kind of awkward and clearly not wanting to be there makes him the only one who comes off decent there. The rest of the guys are supposed to be these red-pilled rebels, but they clearly desperately want to be involved in the douchiest aspects of club culture, which is true. You're like rebels. You're these like masculine bros, but you're desperately hoping to be perceived as cool, and you're using a Miami club to do that. And you'll probably argue and be like, you're cool, you're talking about me. Yes, you went viral, but again, is that actually a measure of coolness? Is this something that other people should aspire to do? Are you actually happy? Like, take the likes and the attention and the clicks and the hoes.
All right, we'll stop there. No, it's not something people should aspire to. I think at some point in the near future, they actually go into the notion of, they played Kanye's Hitler song, which is also interesting. But no one should aspire to be these people. At least in the broadest sense, no, you should not. Maybe there's some things you could take from them. Stand up for yourself. I guess I think that's something Andrew Tate kind of preaches, which is, don't be a pushover in any case. But yeah. All right, that's Brett Cooper, Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, and Clavicular walk into a club. You can go look that up if you like. See the rest of it.